Oh, hi everyone. I'm doing this particular video as a voiceover because I've been forced into that particular situation due to my my faithful old friend, the Hero Black version 4, the GoPro, losing its ability to record sound. Something I didn't expect, and I actually blamed it on the Corel editing software because other parts of my computer were operating fine when it came to the audio levels. But it wasn't the actual editing software at all. It was actually the GoPro camera. And I mean, I've had it for over 6 years, and I've basically used it virtually every day of the year. So, it really has had a lot of work. And there have been a few bumps along the way too. I haven't really used it as an action camera to the extent of, say, doing dirt bike riding, that type of thing, or really strenuous physical activity, but I still have taken it outdoors a lot, and it is a fantastic little camera for that. But I'm now looking at actually upgrading to a different camera, to the one that's actually made in China, which doesn't make me overly pleased, but it is so substantially cheaper than the GoPro 9, which is the current iteration of that particular brand. It's about $2.99 at Harvey Norman. Unfortunately, they're not in stock in Cairns, so I may have to get it delivered and have to wait a bit longer. But that's about half the price I'd be paying for the GoPro 9. So it just gives you some indication of how expensive the GoPro 9 is. And it's got bells and whistles on it that I don't really need. And I haven't really used a lot of those bells and whistles on even the Hero 4. Like, I've never really used 4K. So, it's just over-engineered for what I need. So I think the actual the DJI Cosmo would be a better suit for what I'm looking for. So, and I may as well save myself a few $100 in the deal. So if it turns out to be a dog, at least I haven't spent that much on it. But I doubt that very much because it's basically compared relatively favourably with the GoPro. So they're on pretty equal footings. I just read a review recently which gave GoPro the nod, but again, for stuff that I wouldn't use. So anyway, this is I'm going to have to get a new camera. So in the interim, what I'm going to have to do is actually do voiceovers. I might use the GoPro because it still does the visual stuff fine, but I just can't get any audio at all. It's zero. It's no talkies basically. So that's a bit of a worry. Now I've got a footage I'm showing in the background now, which is actually taken before I realised the camera was on the blink. As you can see, the visual image is fine, and look at that humongous frond from the palm out the front of my house that fell onto the ground. Gigantic looking thing, and just shows you how big those things are. Apparently they don't make the greatest mulch, but you can mulch them. You can actually, they do break down, and they will at least provide some protection from evaporation. So what I think I'll need to do is actually buy a pruning saw. They don't sell them in supermarkets, and they don't seem to sell them at Kmart, so I'm going to have to go to Bunnings to get it. Now I'm going to try to get to Bunnings in Smithfield, but to do that I'm going to have to take the walkway under the main highway where the bus stops, and then walk all the way down the full length of the Smithfield shopping centre on the opposite side of the road to where Bunnings is, because there's also cheaper fertiliser there, because I can get this Yates all-purpose fertiliser delivered to my address, 500 milligram bag of it, but it's $10 if I bought it through Coles with the delivery, which is great, but it's only $7.10 at Bunnings. So certain things at Bunnings aren't reasonably priced, and the pruning saw is only $5. So if they're both in stock, that'll be really good. So what I'm going to do is check that out tomorrow. yeah, as you can see from the footage, that is a gigantic piece of fallen foliage on the lawn that I'd had to move to where one of the carports is, and what I'll use the pruning saw for is just to cut it up into more manageable sizes. Then I can basically try to break it down. What I could do is get a new compost bin. There's a rectangular one that's being advertised online, and it's got a much bigger capacity than the one that I bought, and that would I could use that as my main compost bin and use the secondary one for maybe breaking down things like the fronds from the from palms, because they're a pain. Good news is, finally think I'm locked into getting a tree lopper to take out the dead tree at the back of my property on Friday, which will be great. And also getting rid of the rubber tree, which has those wandering roots all over the place to neighbours' places as well, and one of the big palm trees out the front of my place that's right next to my house. I'm a bit worried it's just too close to the foundations. So that's actually happening. I've confirmed that they will be showing up on Friday, so hopefully that'll happen. I'm also supposedly getting a quote from a roofer on Thursday. So fingers crossed that all starts happening, and the lights should be done on Tuesday, the way things are looking. So that's really good, because finally a few of these tradies are coming to the party and we're going to get some stuff done. The second bit of footage that I'm showing you is actually a celebration in effect of finally getting rid of all that soil from the front of the house. It was blocking the driveway into my huge carport, as you can see in the pictures. Gigantic area that is. Now that's all clear, so that was yesterday that I got that clear. My next door neighbour came over with a shovel to help me finish it, but I said to him, look, there's no point, because I could see that I could clear it up really quickly, and I think it was only about probably 8 wheelbarrow loads at the most, so I got it sorted really quickly. And I said to him, look, you just go back, have your breakfast, because he does a physical job anyway. I think he works as a groundsman at a school, so I feel guilty getting him involved in any extra work here, but it was very nice of him to offer to do it anyway, so I'm very appreciative. So I've got good neighbours here. And speaking of good neighbours, I've still got the wheelbarrow that I used to do all that work. And what I'm going to do is what I have done is actually put an order in yesterday for a 4-wheeler rather than the one-wheel wheelbarrow, the classic style. I'm buying one for about $88 online, so it could take a while to get here. It could be a couple of weeks, and then it's got to be assembled. But I don't think the assembly is going to be that difficult compared to what it was like to assemble the wheelbarrow online that I was thinking of buying previously. I think Mick's the name of my neighbour, and he said to me that you probably should get something with 2 wheels. So I went one better than that. I decided to buy one that's got 4 wheels, and it's probably only about $20 more than the standard wheelbarrow, but I think it'd be much more useful for the garden, because I was finding if you put a heavy load in the wheelbarrow and it gets a little unstable, it gets very close to tipping over. So it does have that design flaw, in my opinion, anyway. So so I just got a bit of footage there of me stuffing around in the backyard. It's a pity I lost all the audio, because it was actually one of the longest clips I've done. So without the audio, it looks particularly boring. But look, I'll just get you up to speed about what's happening with all the things that I'm doing. What else? I bought something else as well. What was the other thing I bought? Well, I'm still waiting on the seeds to arrive. There's a whole lot of seeds that still haven't showed up, and they were due to arrive on Friday, but they still haven't got here. But that's pretty typical of cans. And I'm keen to get them because I want to start propagating some more plants. And they've got green peppers there, and and also tomatoes, because my tomatoes seeds haven't germinated at all, which is a real worry. I don't know what's happening there, because I think they were still within the time frame of being viable. Only one of the green peppers seems to have actually germinated, so I've got more capsicum seeds coming, and I've got a lot more flowering seeds as well. So yeah, I bought quite a large number of seeds, and so I'm quite keen to see them arrive, so I can really start getting into doing some major gardening, because I want to actually set up elevated planters along the perimeter of the left-hand side of the house, which now has grass. So I haven't actually put an order in for any of those yet. I'd actually want something bigger than what they sell. They sell planters that go for about 1 metre in length, but I'd like to have one that goes for several metres, like a custom built one. If I could get onto a carpenter, they could probably put together something that'd be a lot cheaper, and it'd cover a lot more surface. And I've got a crap load of soil to fill it up with. So once I get that done, then I can actually start planting plants on that side of the house and make it look a lot more attractive. And then it's just a matter of putting pavers in along the side, and then that part of the job will be done. Mind you, once I get rid of that major palm tree right out the front of my house, that'll open up a bit more space to put some plants there too. So I've got a lot of work to do in the garden. It's a huge job. I'll leave it up to the tradies to do the other work within the house and what have you. And I've still got to get, I want to get a quote on Thursday about getting drainage on both sides of the house as well. So that could be improved, because I think that could stop the cracking occurring in the back rooms. The paint job seems to have covered that quite nicely. It seems pretty good now and under control, but yeah, a lot of work. So anyway, I just got back from walking down to the local shops. It took me 20 minutes each way. Very nice day, although it's starting to cloud up a bit, but it hasn't started raining. I just bought a bottle of cab sab for as a thank you to the people who lent the wheelbarrow to me. So I got them a pepper jack cab sab. So it's quite a nice drop. $20 on special at Liquorland. So that was good. So I'll get that to them. I haven't seen them round today, but I'll knock on the door. They're leaving tomorrow, so I'll catch them sometime in the next few hours and get that to them. Yeah, I'm hoping to hear back from Harvey Norman. I want to really get that that GoPro substitute, because you know, it's. I feel a little naked without my pocket camera. It's going to be tough, but this is a good camera. This is actually better quality. This Sony that I'm actually recording on now. Like I said, the big downside with it is it's just a bit bulky because it's a camcorder, and I just don't think I'd buy another camcorder. They're too impractical for taking outdoors. I'd get one that's like more the shape of an SLR camera, but that also has the capacity to do high quality video shooting. So those can be slung around your neck, and they're a lot easier to take outside. So yeah, that's basically what I'd like to do, but that's a low priority. I've got plenty of other things to worry about before that. So the garden is the top priority, really. I just want to get stuff happening there. I've still got a little bit of potting mix, and I've got a crap load of soil and mulch, so I'll be able to get and when I get the liquid fertiliser tomorrow, I'll have plenty to feed them, because I think the spinach is doing okay, but it probably would grow a little faster and be more robust if I provided it with some liquid fertiliser, so I'll do that. And the 500ml pack makes up 500 litres, so it's a lot. The other thing I want to buy, of course, is the home brewer kit, and get that delivered. So we'll see if I can get that done this week as well. But there's no super rush with that one. But it would be nice to to get a stack of a first quantity of home brew out and just see how it goes. And then there'll be just a beer formula that comes with the kit, and then I'll move on to what I really want to do is brew some dark beer. That's what I really want to get into. And then maybe some experimentation. The Belgians are very experimental with their beers. They put fruit and other things into them. So there's lots of different things you can do when you're brewing. You don't have to stick to the standard. So once you get the basic expertise done, then you can try a few lateral things and see how it goes. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do a bit of experimentation, and it's a form of cooking in effect, because there's lots of different recipes for making beer. So that would be rather good, and maybe put in some tropical fruit that comes locally. That could be an interesting addition to beer, because they do use fruit in Belgian beer, so it can be done. Nice, but anyway, that's I basically needed to ramble on a bit just to fill up that footage, although I'll probably edit it to the length of this particular video. I usually find that I go longer than I expect when I start rambling. I have the gift of the gab. There's no problem there. So look, if you, I hope you enjoyed this, and please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, make comments. Always like hearing feedback from people, and and consider subscribing. Actually, the subscribers have come back on board, so you tend to lose them and then they come back again, and obviously you get a turnover with subscribers. You don't have the same people all the time. I don't do much political stuff now, so I mean I wouldn't be attracting that audience that I might have actually cultivated earlier. But I'm not averse to doing anything like that. But it is a bit difficult with Google. You've got to be very careful, because there is fairly tight censorship on this particular platform, so just something to keep in mind. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll get this one edited up and out to you, and start doing some voiceover videos from now on until I finally get the new camera.